Good afternoon and welcome to SUTV Live. We're live inside our Bramall Lane studio in the build-up to today's match, one that can still have an impact on the promotion race, but not for United because we're already up. We'll relive the match and the scenes as Blades secured Premier League football for next season. That's right, we can all let out a collective sigh of relief. And let's just look forward to the next 3 games. Kick-off is just under an hour away, and for all the match pass information and broadcasting regulations for today's game, go to the website sufc.co.uk. Well, a good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. It's been a season of ups and downs, but Paul Heckingbottom's men have stayed the course, and Premier League football is coming next season. First of all, though, it's United against Preston North End. And joining me in the studio this afternoon, I'm delighted to be joined by Blades defender Ellie Wilson and also a former United midfielder in Michael Brown. Ellie, you were here on Wednesday night, recovered from the celebrations?
Yeah, I mean, my voice is just about recovered, I think. But yeah, it was a fantastic night, great game. And just to get it over the line, and in the fashion that they did, the atmosphere was just unbelievable. I've never seen Bramall Lane like it. No,
it was great to see. And you were not here for the match, otherwise engaged, but recovering from the London Marathon last week.
Yeah, recovering only just. But yeah, I had other engagements that night, Manchester City versus Arsenal, so I couldn't make it. Unfortunately, I was really disappointed because I knew it was the game that every chance. I knew I was coming here this weekend. I almost was thinking, please can it happen today? Let's have the big one when I'm here. But that was just for selfish reasons. So yeah, I did the marathon. Brilliant achievement. Really enjoyed it. Much tougher than I thought.
I have to say, Michael, though, before you sort of gloss over it, the big thing about that, you got yourself round and maybe not quite in the time that you'd wanted, but still very respectable time for most of us mere mortals. But you raised a heck of a lot of money for a very good cause.
Yeah, really good. I mean, almost £60,000 for the Christie Cancer Charity based in the Northwest, which helped so many people. They helped me in lockdown when I had a melanoma, and it was about giving something back. So really challenging, but rewarding to give something back to the charity, and so much support from everybody, which is fantastic.
Have you stopped taking?
Not yet. I was turning the bike round today, but I couldn't walk down the stairs for the first few days. Honestly, it's really tough. But now everyone's saying, will you do another one? Will you have a go? I'm going to try and have a run on Monday, just try and have a jog and just try and get it going.
Well done anyway. Now then, we're, what are we now, 6 minutes past 2, and 3 o'clock, of course, is kick-off. And first of all, let's catch up on the United team news. This is the way that they are going to be lining up, and 4 changes there. We see that we have got team changes with McBurney dropping out. Also Chris Basham coming in for John Egan, Ollie Norwood for Sander Berg, and Jayden Bogle for George Baldock. Would that be surprising, or just using the squad, or is it a little bit of a coming together after Wednesday's excesses?
I think what you've looked at over the course of the season, the squad has really contributed. It's not just a select few, and everybody wants to go of it. Everyone will be thinking, right, well, there's a few people who've burned the candle a little bit too much, maybe a little bit drunk, but. Do you know what? It's great for Billy Sharp. He's obviously trying to get that 250th goal. We'll wait to see if he can do that. This will be a great day of football today, in celebration for what the players have done. And it's been a real collective. That's what's been impressive. So I'm glad that there's been a few changes. A few people are getting some opportunities to play in such a great day. Families will be involved, etc. And they're normally brilliant days. And it's also just an opportunity to relax and go and enjoy your football. You'll be tested, but I don't know what you think. It'll be slightly strange for a few of them, won't they, after the middle of the week?
Yeah, definitely. I think the fact that the middle of the week happened in the middle of the week as well, it's sort of thrown everybody off a bit. But as you said, it's a whole squad, it's a collective effort, and there'll be lads that want to play. It's the last home game as well, which adds a little bit more. And And like you say, everybody's contributed at various points in the season. So if people are resting in and out, whether that's for whatever reason or celebrations, you know, I think it's right that other people can have an opportunity, and it's still a strong squad, whichever way it goes. And it's definitely one to relax in and enjoy now that promotion is secured. There's only a couple of games left now.
It's been a great squad effort, hasn't it? And, you know, I mean, one or two people I've seen have raised eyebrows on social media and elsewhere about sometimes United having to scrap and winning narrowly, a lot of 1-0 victories, a lot of narrow victories. But in a sense, that's kind of what a winning mentality is about, isn't it? You're not always going to win glamorously. You sometimes have to win ugly.
Do you know, when you speak to the team and they'll tell you, you know, at some points in the season, you're looking at, say, for instance, Burnley, they were a little bit more convincing, getting bigger results. But what this Sheffield United squad did, and staff, they stuck with it as a group. They really, really were hard to beat. The ground out games were not necessarily they were so comfortable. It got a little bit better towards the end for sure, where they'd obviously had total domination. But it was a really top squad performance. And you know, when times were hard, they were looking around and your teammate next to you was doing his job. People were coming in when there was injuries, a little bit of adversity. But it's been a really special, obviously, turnaround since Paul Heckingbottom took, you know, full charge of the squad. And it's obviously every day. The work ethic's been really, really good.
You talk about Paul Heckingbottom. I mean, it's an amazing achievement by him and his coaching staff. People sometimes forget when he took over in, what are we talking about, 2021, when he came in, United was 16th and looking over their shoulder at possibly sliding out of the Championship. Never mind getting into the playoffs as they did, and then here a year later getting back into the top flight.
I think that season, you know, with the playoffs and coming so close and just not quite getting over the line will have only given them even more motivation for now. But as you say, since Hecky has come in, there's just been a real turnaround, and you can see the drive and the togetherness as well of the group. And I think that's when you can really sort of praise your backroom staff and Hecky as a whole, because you're just thinking you need everybody to be on the same page. If you are going to be going for promotion, playoffs and trying to get promoted out of the league, you've got to have a squad that's buying into everything.
You know, the disappointment of last season.
Yeah.
And then to start, and obviously all over again, I thought that was what, you know, was the real challenge. And
you just think you've got so close to doing it, and you just fall at the final hurdle. And I mean, because they were very close to getting to, you know, that last bit, but to then use that as motivation in a positive way rather than saying, oh, here we go again.
Shorter build-up as well, wasn't it? Pre-season as well.
Yeah.
To be able
I just
to
think
do it.
the way everything's been managed, like we went through a period before Christmas with a hell of a lot of injuries, and you've got to rely on various members of the squad, youngsters coming in, you've got loan players, and everyone's just pulled together, and it's been a fantastic season.
You talk about the squad, and of course Hecky's got his tried and tested formation. United have named their lineup today, and this is how we expect them to be taking their place on the pitch, and it's very much as expected there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'll see a massive difference in that. Why would he? You know, he might steer slightly. Now you've got it. Is there something that he thinks he'd like to have a little look at in the last few games, to know that he can take in to the Premier League? I think that's one opportunity for him, but whether it's too soon to do that because it's only a couple of days, but we might just see a few little tweaks for something or a particular player. And now it's all about proving that you're going to be able to stay in this system. Which players are going to be able to be in the Premier League, because there's going to be obviously players coming in, the loan players are possibly going to go. We'll see how that goes.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because Doyle and McAtee, the two loanees from Manchester City, have been absolutely a key part of the surge towards promotion in the second half of the season. The players, of course, are all here now at Bramall Lane, and Matt Young had the opportunity a few minutes ago to catch up with Tommy Doyle.
Tommy, promotion secured on Wednesday night. How does it come into this game without any pressure potentially?
Yeah, amazing. I think we can just enjoy it. You know, it's been a special couple of days. So yeah, obviously it's the last home game now, so I think we should just enjoy it with the fans and yeah, see what happens.
Full house again. You'll want to sign off at home with another win today, won't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, I've loved playing here. You know, it's the last time today, so yeah, it's been amazing. It's been special, and you know, to get promotion is unbelievable. So you know, I'm gonna enjoy today, definitely.
Imagine the celebrations were good the other night, but I guess the boys are all rested and ready to go again this afternoon.
Yeah, we've had some fun, but yeah, now obviously it's game time again. So you know, our heads switch onto this, you know, as it should do. So yeah, we're obviously ready for this game and ready to go out there.
Of course, Preston has still got something to play for, so it's very much business heads on when it comes to 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, of course, you know, we want to win. That's how it is, you know. Obviously we've got the job done of what we needed to do, but you know, obviously we still want to continue to win and continue to play well in front of our fans, and you know, just enjoy what we've achieved.
Of course, this could be your last appearance for Sheffield United in front of these home fans as well, so you want to sign off with a win and a good performance this afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, I said before, it's been amazing. It's been a pleasure to play for this club, especially at Bramall Lane. It's a very special place, and yeah, you know, I'm looking forward now to today, and yeah, enjoy it with them.
Tommy Doyle talking about the way in which he's really enjoyed playing here at Bramall Lane. And the two loanees, you know, I mean, you talk about the impact that they've had on the promotion-winning team, but I mean, they've grown as players this year.
Well, they have. I mean, there was a lot of expectation on the shoulders as well, coming from Manchester City. Obviously, Tommy Doyle had been out on loan. McAtee hadn't so much. He's obviously the one with more of that natural ability, wonderful to the eye, what he can do in certain areas. And it was a bit of a slow start for them, wasn't it? I think there might have been a slight injury at the start for Tommy Doyle. And McAtee understanding the other side of football when you haven't got the ball. I think that was what was questioned straight away. How can he come back? How can he help out of possession, making the right decisions? And then over the course of the season, they've developed brilliant. And I think you've got to praise a Norwood for helping them in those situations to get better and better. Manager was patient and had a little look, had a great sit down here for them for Manchester City TV, and we did a great sort of piece with a pair of them. McAtee doesn't want to talk too much to the camera, but we brought him out, had a bit of a giggle, and how much they enjoyed the time as we walked round the pitch and on the dressing room, etc. And it was just a really, really insight into where they are mentally, how they've developed.
You know, sort of in their hearts, how they're feeling at the end of the season, whether or not, as Manchester City players, whether or not they're thinking, hey, I want to go back and prove myself there. Or maybe there's a part of them thinking, we've done this season, we'd love to move on with Sheffield United and see what we can do here.
Yeah, I think when you've played such a big part in such a great thing for the club, you know, it's a great place to play, Bramall Lane, and the fan base and everything, and they've slotted in really well. They've had a lot of minutes under their belt. They've developed on and off the pitch and the physical side of it, as you said, with the out of possession side of things. You know, they've got great quality on the ball, but to learn that side of it, I think they've grown as players in a physical sense. And once you kind of feel yourself slotting into an environment, into a team that you feel comfortable and you're playing well, you know, they will have a strong attachment there. So it'd be interesting to see at the end how they feel about that.
I think that's the thing as well, is they obviously want to go back to Manchester City and get in that team. But you've got to be realistic and say, can that happen? I mean, there's been a few rumours maybe that Tommy Doyle could be sold. He could be a one that actually could be able to maybe leave Manchester City permanently. But for McAtee, he'd be sort of one they would say they want to just see develop a little bit more. Will he get around the squad? Will he be available again to be a loan next season? And I give him the bad news that they both can't be loaned to Sheffield United, which we're really aware of. So we'll see. So there might be something for Tommy Doyle to be made permanent for some football club, and then a loan, obviously, for McAtee. But these are the things, and what's happened as well for me, from my perspective, is that Sheffield United and Paul Heckingbottom have looked after these two wonderful, talented youngsters. That relationship should be good now with Manchester City to follow, and obviously hopefully see if there's any more in the future.
Well, we're now coming up to 18 minutes past the hour. Kick-off at 3 o'clock. Sheffield United against Preston. That's this afternoon, but now time to unashamedly wallow in what happened on Wednesday night, that victory which saw us go back to the Premier League, and these were the highlights. And after a nervy first half in the second, it was a moment of Iliman and Jai inspiration that saw us on the way.
So can Sheffield United reclaim a place in the Premier League? We're about to find out. McAtee picks out Berger. Something off the training ground here. Saved. Sanic saved again. The flag surely being raised there against Townsend. Offside. Target was McBurnie who won it. Now Robinson. Iliman Ndiaye Oh, got all the way to shooting position, then hit the deck. Baldock. McAtee. That's half-time then. Berger looking to put Townsend under pressure. It's a poor touch, and Baldock here for United. Baldock! And Jai. Wants the return from Baldock. He's retrieved it. Baldock might hit one himself. Baldock. Oh, that's loose. Eliminating Jai. Can he get the shot away? Lovely play. Sander Berger! Yes! Sheffield United hit the front. Sander Berger the scorer, but it's all about Iliman and Jai. Wonderful composure. Berger's in for his 7th of the season in front of the Kop, and United have the breakthrough. Ahmed Hoddich is sprinting forward. It goes to Berger. Berger towards the back post. Was that a foul? McBurney was pushed into the net. Berger buys himself half a yard for the cross. John Egan, that was a real chance. Tommy Doyle to deliver. Net at the near post, comes out to Baldock, and then diverted in. And now Ahmed Hoddich in the right place at the right time for his 6th of the campaign. Celebrates in front of a joyous Kop, and United can taste the Premier League again.
Matt Young and Kevin Gage rather enjoying that one, and rightly so. And after the game, Ollie McBurney, well, he was delighted to be a Premier League player once again. But first of all, we hear from Sander Berge reflecting on an important win, considering all the stakes involved.
So obviously a little bit nervous when you go out and you know what's on stake, you know. But I think we played with composure, and we were clever. You know, we knew it would probably take some time before we got the 1-0, because West Brom is a good team and they defend well and have good players going forward. But the longer the game went, I think we played better and better, and obviously getting the crowd behind us as we started. You know, getting more crosses into the box, pushing harder, and you know, being more aggressive. I think after 1-0 and we got 2-0. It was just a great moment, and fantastic. The support has been brilliant all season, and to do it in this way is special.
It was tough in the first half. We expected it to be tough, but you seemed to run over them in the second half. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, obviously every game is tough, especially first half. Teams come and sit low, and you know they defend well, and but the game opened a little bit more up, and we could run more at them, and we took our chances. And we're always good when we come up. We're very strong when we. Defending a lead, and we can still produce. So yeah, it was a great scenario.
Tell us about the goal then. When you saw Iliman in that position, you ran into the box. Were you expecting him to square it?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I quite acted off. I saw him getting the ball, and then I knew he would turn him, because he didn't really have an angle to shoot. And then when he turned him, I knew I had to get in front of the goal. So just reacted off his quality and you know his decision making, which is top notch. And yeah, the ball he delivered was perfect.
And scoring such a crucial goal in front of the Kop, tell us how that felt.
Oh, best moment in my football career, you know, scoring the opener in the game we're going up. It couldn't be better, you know, in front of the Kop is amazing. You know, they've been there every day since I arrived at this club, and they've been huge for me and us as a team. So I can't thank them enough, and it was great to share the moment with them.
What a feeling, man. A mixture of relief getting it done tonight. You know, it was a big thing for us not to let it drag over the weeks. The first half was a little bit tetchy, to say the least, but the boys showed, you know, what we've done so many times this year, and we're not at our best, find a way to win against a team that was hard to break down. And the feeling's incredible. I've never felt anything like it. I'm just so proud of all the boys, you know, and the staff. Everyone just deserves it so much.
You're right, they were tough to break down, but you just seem to find that extra gear after half-time.
Yeah, you know, the gaffer told us, you know, we were in the game, but we hadn't really started in the first half. We had so much more to give, and you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of a mistake from them for us to latch on. But I think it's a lot of it's down to our press. You know, we set up the press to be able to nick out the ball, like so many times we've done this year, and it nearly shows that bit of quality. And then Sander kicks it into the ground, and it bounces over the defender. So we take them all day long.
To have that in reserve after so many games and an FA Cup semi-final, to then come in at half-time and go out and find that extra gear, what does that say about this group?
Yeah, I think it's what everyone knows, you know, the mentality that we have. You know, there's too many leaders and too many men in that dressing room to go under in these situations. You know, we knew what was at stake, and we knew we could get it done tonight, and there was nothing that was going to take it away from us, whether we were at our best or not.
to do it in front of your own fans who are very vocal tonight, that must be extra special for you.
Yeah, incredible, man. The fans were beautiful, and to give them that experience and to share that experience with them is something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Singing your name as you were coming off, and that must feel fantastic for a striker to hear your name being sung by the Cop.
Yeah, like I said, the fans, they've been so good to me the last few years. Through ups and downs, I've had good times and I've had some low times, and they've stuck with me the whole time. And it was a little bit emotional tonight coming off of that. I knew the boys would see it out, and I knew where we'd get to, and for them to give me that reception, it's a special feeling, man.
Ali Wilson and Michael Brown watching with me, and when you see these reactions after that final whistle, it's just lovely to see how much it means to the whole team and the coaches.
Well, rightly so. I mean, that is the pinnacle, isn't it? That's what they've wanted to do. Obviously a great achievement, getting to a semi-final. What a week of football, and then to follow it up very, very quickly with a promotion party, a celebration. It's just special for players. It changes players' lives. It's something that you want to do. Some of them have had a taste of that situation, others haven't. And for that guy in the picture, Paul Heckingbottom, I'm so proud of what he's gone on and achieved, because he was tested. He had to change the club around. He's got great support staff that we know as well. Obviously, I know very well in Jack Lester, Stuart McCall, who I've managed to play with, and it's just a great team. And I think that's always something that I've been proud of what Sheffield United is, and it's a team.
And fantastic for the fans as well. It brings back memories for me from when I was a little lad, being here and watching Tony Curry and co producing their promotion-winning season. People who were here, particularly little kids who were here watching that game, they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. We were saying before that I've never experienced a game quite like that, and the atmosphere, and I think that's Sheffield United fans all over. It's the team effort, like you just spoke about, as a collective, and the fact that night happened and unfolded at a home game as well just made it even more special for the players, families, fans, young fans. Everybody involved won't forget that for the rest of their life, particularly youngsters coming through. That'll be something that sticks in their memory. And, as Ollie said there, that's something, it's a massive achievement for him. You've had ups and downs, and for it to boil down to one fantastic moment, which was in their control as well. Going into that game, they had that sort of pressure on them that if we go out and we do this is in our control tonight and we can make this happen. And I think that would have just spurred them on.
Hopeful as well that long term the club's in a better position as well. I think you look at that sort of angle to go back into the Premier League, the knock-on effect for a couple of seasons, that can really help the situation. And you only really look at that initial sort of the delight of the first team being able to play in the Premier League, but you've got to look at all other avenues all around the football club from everybody, and I think that's notably how good this week has been for this football club, and hard work around from everybody, and we're going to get them rewards.
Well, time will tell what the future has in store, but after the game, midfielders Tommy Doyle and James McAtee joined Paul Walker here in this studio to talk about promotion, and first of all in that match, how they'd had to improve their performances as the game went on.
Obviously in the first half, we were trying to break them down, and sometimes you can't always do that, but you've got to keep plugging away. And as it happens, most games in the second half, we kind of get that breakthrough and push on. And thankfully today we did that, and it wasn't a 1-0 victory. We scored a few more. So yeah, it was a great feeling, and to get promoted to the Premier League is what we've wanted, and to do that is so special.
And the goal, when it came, just settled everything down, and then you were playing with a freedom that we have seen this season. It was relentless, and West Bromwich Albion simply couldn't cope with it, could they?
It didn't calm me down. I was still stressing. I was just hoping for the final whistle to go, and then I was actually in the toilet when we got our second, but I came out just in time for the cheers. So yeah, it was a buzz, man. It was a buzz.
What was it like in the dressing room just then?
I want to get back in there now.
I'll promise not to keep you too much longer, but to see the fans celebrating, to do it in front of your own support, just makes it that extra special, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We've had good times and we've had bad times this season, but the fans always stick by you, and what we do is for them. It's their club as well, and to be able to, like you say, get promoted to the Premier League for not just us, is massively for them, and it's very, very special.
We had it last year. Fans fell in love with Morgan Gibbs-White, and I think they've taken you two to their hearts as well. In terms of an overall experience coming here and how these Blades fans have treated you and how the rest of the lads have taken you under their wing as well, how would you comment on that?
I mean, I think I can speak on behalf of James as well. You know, we've loved it. The lads and the way everybody is taken to us and the fans, and you know we needed to work hard and show what we can do. And you know, I think when the fans get behind you, you feel so comfortable and you end up playing your best football. And you know, recently he's been affecting games massively, and you know, I've been helping out there too. And honestly, it's been very special for us, and I think it's something that will stay with us forever. And you know, to do it together, we've grown up playing for City together as well. So it's very, very unbelievable for us to be in this position right now.
James, same for you?
I think I'd just like to thank all the fans, Hecky, the players, for trusting me, to backing me from the start and to the end. So there's nothing more I can say really. Just thank you.
Well, the pair of them had calmed down and looked fairly chilled by the time they got there, but they'd made their way up minutes after this sort of celebration on the pitch, and then huge celebrations in the changing room once they got back there. The champagne was being sprayed around, and the fans didn't want to go. Everybody wanted to have a moment of this.
Oh, no wonder. I mean, this is what you've waited for all season. The disappointment, as I've said, of last season makes it even better, doesn't it? To get over the line, to get it over early, to have this day as well, to continue that celebration, to be able to enjoy it, to do it so quickly. So great scenes. I mean, whenever I've been involved in dressing rooms where you've won things like that and being in situations, it's the best feeling in front of the crowd. You get that feeling when it just goes the raw here in this stadium, and you know, special days, and no one. I mean, for those two have come on loan. It's a sort of a strange situation that they celebrating so well, and then the journey might not be here.
Yeah,
and that's the weird one. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of them, like you just mentioned there, when you're involved in a promotion or celebrations like that, you don't want it to end. You literally just don't want it to end. You want to still be with your team, with your fans, and like you say, for McAtee and Doyle, they'll know that there is an ending coming up. It's nice that we're still back at home again today, but as for their future, it'll only stand them in good stead, whatever that looks like.
You sometimes sense cynicism in some members of the public, don't you? About, you know, they sort of say, footballers make so much money, you know, easy life, they're just mercenaries, all the rest of it. But when you see guys coming together who've worked together to produce something and achieve together, and then see that sense of achievement and the celebrations that follow, for me as a fan, that's just lovely to see.
Well, I think these guys are obviously, everybody looks at and I think that's a bit of a culture that we're in at the moment. We look for the worst things in people. We're very, very critical with what happens, especially in footballs, or people in the limelight. But they do so much away from the football club with regards to helping the local community, the charities, etc. And then obviously they need this reward. That's something they've worked at ever since they were youngster, kicking the football around, waiting for days and nights of things like that. And you never forget those memories. I'm still, you know, every time you look and you look at certain things in your career that you've done, and it just brings a huge smile on your face of those special days. I've had some great ones here, I've had them other places, and it just tells you you're lucky to be in that situation, and to be in that dressing room, to be on that pitch when the atmosphere is like that. It's just breathtaking.
And more of it to come this afternoon, hopefully not just a glory run, but also some more good football to enjoy. Let's take a look at the Championship League table. Great to see that P next to Sheffield United, isn't it? Means that promotion now is guaranteed. There's one little amendment from that, because Millwall beat Blackpool last night to send Blackpool down, and puts Millwall up into 5th place in the table. And of course, Preston, as you can see there, in 10th place, but with 63 points, still in with a chance of making those playoffs. So they'll be coming here with big support, looking for 3 points.
Yeah, big support. I seen one of their players yesterday actually, and said how important it was, how they want to come, and realise that atmosphere is there, but they will come. They'll come hungry. They'll try and set the tone. They'll try and be physical. This is a big opportunity for them, and their manager will demand that from them. They've had their sort of injuries being given to them where it's knocked them off a little bit of track, which hasn't helped their situation. As somebody we know well, obviously Ched Evans is in a, so he's had his struggles the last few weeks, so we wish him well. But you know, I think it'll be a tough afternoon of football.
For sure, you know, like you said, the Blades might be promoted, but Preston have got a lot to play for. So by no means it's going to be a pushover or an easy game, and a lot of changes in the Sheffield United team. But you know, I expect Preston will come out of the blocks and like you say, be physical and have a strong start.
United's recent form, Ellie, 4 wins from 5, certainly promotion form if ever you'd seen it. United doing the business there really when it mattered, and those clean sheets when it mattered as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, collective effort across the board. In any successful team, you need to have your clean sheets at the back and your goal scorers, and that's been the key thing across the season. Is often that, you know, it might come down to a 1-0 win, it might be that you've ground out a result, but you know, bottom line is it's been consistent, and that's the reason why they're in the position that they are, because it's a tough league. So consistency is absolutely like key, and they've performed each week.
You know, the Burnley result was a strange situation that they've been put in. They've performed excellent, so that didn't go to plan. But I just think you just look at as you said, the goals conceded.
West Fodringham.
So West Fodringham,
what a good season he's had.
Great season, and I just think it's really, really impressive. I was at Blackburn in the week, Burnley obviously sealing that championship, so I managed to do that game, and just seeing that, the joy what Burnley had. So the two football clubs have really rightly so been the best performance outright by a long way, and you know, hopefully it'll continue the next few games.
Well, let's look at our games that are coming up. We've got Huddersfield away, that's on Thursday, a 7:45 kick-off, and we'll be on air from 7 o'clock for that one. And Birmingham City away on the 8th of May, a 3 o'clock kick-off, and we'll be on air there from 2 o'clock. Now, time perhaps to look back at earlier in the season and the reverse fixture up at Deepdale, when goals from Njai and McBurney sealed the victory.
Norwood forward, Brewster onto this one, takes it earlier in, Brewster. Baldock into the penalty area, McBurney, brilliant block by Lindsay. It's a lovely ball into McBurney. And it goes from Norwood, fisted away by Freddie Woodman. Crossfield from Norwood, looking for McBurney. Can Brewster get onto this one? Whiteman Dalid, chance for Njai. Illiman Njai. Njai! Brilliant! United take the lead. Njai for the Blades. His 5th of the campaign. They've had to soak up a bit of pressure in this first half. With 5 minutes to go to the break, it's United who are in front. Berger's into the box here. Chance here, great save by Woodman. Njai thought he might have had a second, and it's fired over the top by Norwood. There's a half-time whistle. Njai, McBurney, Brewster. Norwood's corner, Woodman fists it clear. Good punch. There was a miscontrol this time by Hughes. You don't want to give it to Sander Berger. Berger maybe just overrun it, but it's in the end. And Ollie McBurney celebrates in front of the Sheffield United fans. He's into the Sheffield United fans. United have a second goal. McBurney is claiming it. United are 2 in front. And it's the cushion that the Blades really wanted in this second half. Can they finish the job? Norrington Davis here for United. Norrington Davis. Here comes this free kick from Doyle. Sharp gets it back into the mix. Now Johnson. Brown in the box. Brown with a strike. Wonderful save from West Fodringham.
Yeah, it was a good win for Sheffield United, that one, wasn't it? But I mean, there's a lot of water under the bridge since then. Is there anything to read into that? Is that a psychological advantage going into this afternoon?
I think if you've had a really good result, it can be. So if there's a particular setup that you go against and you can dominate the possession and make it tough from memory, you can say, well, we couldn't get near their 3 if we play with a 2, for instance, or a diamond, or whatever that formation could be. And sometimes you come up certain teams where your setup just doesn't help you what to do. It's one of those teams you can't come out of it. I think what we've got here is a totally different situation. Preston have got some injuries. Sheffield United have had an unbelievable week of football to be able to make these changes, big celebrations. But they might be similar in the matchup. So I just feel like it's going to be that bit of quality, who can concentrate the best. I mean, the application will be there from both sides, that's for certain. But you know, it's strange, if they go with a back three, you're sort of more set up to actually say, well, we can sort of take what Sheffield United are going to throw at us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we know what Sheffield United, are good at, and using those wide areas, and that, naturally, if you're playing up against a three, you've got those spaces to utilise. But from Preston's point of view, do you read too much into previous results? I'm not too sure that you would. When you're chasing your own results, you just sort of try and take care of the game in hand. And like I said, I think they'll come out of the blocks and want to put a lot of pressure on and start strong. But it'll be interesting with the changes in the Blades team and the nature of big midweek celebrations, how Sheffield United will fare against it.
Well, let's take a look again at that Sheffield United team. These are the changes. There were 4 changes: Basham for Egan, Norwood for Sander Berger, Jayden Bogle for George Baldock, and Billy Sharp coming in for Ollie McBurney. And interestingly, I saw one of the interviews. There's how they're going to line up. No surprises there. That's how we would anticipate it to be. And one of the interviews with Paul Heckingbottom, he said, we owe it to the league and we owe it to the other players to continue to be completely professional from here on to the end of the season.
I think that's standard, isn't it? Is well, when you want to make a lot of changes, it's going to depend on your opposition. If that opposition are involved in something really, really close, then the duty is even more for the sides to actually play the bulk. 3 or 4 changes acceptable. You can do that, quite comfortably with Sheffield United's squad. But if you play somebody who's in the mid-table where really there's not a lot to go at, then you could sort of go, do you know what, we're going to change quite a bit, because the outcome of the league shouldn't really change too much. So that's where we might possibly see it. I think we've seen it recently where there's been question marks about team selections in the Championship, and questions were asked to say whether that was the right thing to do within the league situation. So that's what will happen.
Heckie's actually drawn his last 2 home games when he was at Barnsley against Preston, and he's looking to get his first double over that particular team. But there's not a spare seat here. I don't know if we can see behind us that as the ground's just starting to fill up, but it's going to be absolutely rammed this afternoon, and they're not going to be wanting to let anybody down, are they?
No, for sure. Like you said, full house. Everybody's still buzzing off midweek, and they've still got a professional side to uphold. Heckie won't want to just sort of take your foot off the gas, if you like. There's still players in there that he could be looking at for next season. He can have a bit of rotation. Still owe it to the fans, in a sense, to put a good performance on today and enjoy this final home game of the season. And like you mentioned, in terms of the whole league, it could still affect things as well. So there's still things to play for. 12
of them out of contract. So guys are still out there who are looking to cement their place to play in the top flight.
I think that's going to be the situation here at the club of what's going to be available, how will the recruitment pan out, to what level, when can it be done as well. I think that's the difference here, where sometimes you sort of take the whole squad up within contracts. If there's players that's not going to be that, then you've got to look and wait and be patient, and it's an opportunity for some of these, as you said, to try and say we're going to be in this football club next season. But with Preston away from home, I think they're doing really, really well. I think they might have more points away from home than at home. So they are dangerous. You've got to take them serious, because when there is a few changes, that can affect individuals getting this contract. So in that dressing room, review those senior players, straight away, I'm looking at Norwood, I'm looking at Basham down the middle of the pitch, I'm looking at Sharp, for instance, and you're going, they are going to demand it from the rest of that team, that they want a good ending here at Bramall Lane.
Now, you'll have to apologise, the crib sheet here. It says Preston have won 2 of their last 20 away league games against Sheffield United, both 1-0 wins in 2013 to 2014 and 2017 to 2018. They've lost their last 2 away from home, and they lost their last 3 in a row in April 2022. But anyway, this is the Preston team. Let's have a look at this. They've been playing 3-1-4-2 of late, and they've been playing that with Whiteman in a holding role, but he's not there today. He's presumably injured, so Ryan Ledson coming in for him.
Yeah, Ledson's going to control the middle. Onema, Johnson, you can see they're going to be good. At the top of the pitch, Tom Cannon, and Parrott, you know full well he's very, very thought after, the pair of them. So listen, he's been creative, Ryan Lowe. He's actually, you know, he demands, he knows tactically what he expects from his squad. You know, he's a very, very good manager, still learning his trade for sure, but getting better and better. What he's done with his football club is remarkable, really, and to be pushing at the top of the pitch, top of the promotion now, at the top of the pitch really is where they've been strong.
We've got a little photographic caption here of some of the players to watch. We had expected Ben Whiteman to be there, a former Blade who normally plays in midfield, but he's not in the lineup. But these are some people who are expected to have an impact and who are maybe going to be people who we're going to have to keep an eye on. Liam Lindsay, a centre-back, strong in the air. Brad Potts, right-back, got 3 goals this season and sometimes plays more like a midfielder, as indeed does the left-back, Alvaro Fernandez. And then you've got a striker there, Tommy Cannon, who's scored 7 goals in his last 9 championship appearances.
I think that tells you everything, doesn't it? Obviously, we're not seeing some of them. There's a player we know from the bench, Liam Delap, who the 2 young boys will know. Doyle and McAtee from Manchester City on loan, so he's a threat at the top. So obviously no Ched Evans with a serious injury, so we wish him well, as I said before.
That is sounds like a nasty one.
It's a real nasty one, and he was slightly fortunate. So we're just obviously having surgery and things now, and that's a difficult situation for him. Somebody I know well, and really wish him well, because Absolutely. It's a difficult situation. So that's the difference there. And at the top of the pitch, you said as well, Troy Parrott, he can be a threat. So listen, they've got the tools to really, to trouble you, and they're playing in a good, attractive way. But having that back three, like I said, that set-up, we could see a little bit of a block situation at times.
It'd be interesting to see how they match up, like you mentioned, because you've got your wing backs, the wide areas of both teams. It's almost like you're playing chicken with one another. You go higher, see if he comes with you. You drop deeper. Are you encouraging the Preston players onto you, or vice versa? So it'd be interesting to see how that matchup does affect the game. But you've got players in the likes of Cannon, who we mentioned, has got a really good record in terms of converting chances and scoring goals. And at any team, when you've got a lot to play for, can be dangerous,
Johnson and Onema as well in the middle of the pitch. I think we're really looking forward to the match-up there. So whether McAtee will come back in to help the situation, whether he go out on a wider position. So, I think it really bodes for a really exciting game.
Well, as ever, we had our pre-event press conferences yesterday, and wing-back Rob Lowe took the time to speak to us and reiterated that the team have done the same pretty much all season in the run-up to each and every game, preparing for each match exactly the same way.
Going back to the gaffer again, I think I've said it in previous interviews, we've always took it game by game, no matter where we are in the table, whether it's a cup game, league game, we always approach it the same way. And I think that's why, since Hecky's come in, his record's been first class, and I think that's the main reason, because we've literally took it game by game, no matter who we're playing, what occasion it is, nothing changes, so I think that's important.
You've obviously had a little bit of Premier League football, and this is a question, for everybody really. What kind of lessons do you hope have been learnt? What's the biggest challenges that will be faced over the summer as you look forward to taking on the Premier League next year?
Yeah, well, obviously a lot of lads have played more games than myself, but we're going into next season confidence, and I don't think we should be thinking any other way, because we've done great this season, we've got a really good squad. We've had players that have been there and done it for a number of seasons, so for people coming in and the younger lads, it gives everyone confidence, because Hecky's not going to change with anything with what we've been doing this season, so it should be fairly an easy transition. Yeah,
it's the mindset thing again, isn't it, essentially, in the fact that if you were sort of a young group, there could be the kind of, whoa, it's the Premier League, but the reality is there's that many sort of experienced heads, it's not going to be that way. No,
definitely not. Even going to the City game, I know the goals are poor from individual mistakes or just lapse of concentration, but for large parts of the game we defended well, and even looking at that game alone, it gives us confidence, because Man City are one of the best teams in the world, so for us to be able to do that kind of gives us a little bit of a boost going into next season as well.
Max Lowe with his thoughts there, and interesting what he's saying about, you know, the experience as United now look towards the Premier League, and of course wanting to go through these 3 last games, getting hopefully maximum points. But you know, I mean, I saw an article in one of the papers this week saying that United going up, their visit to the top flight is likely to be brief and painful. I mean, easy thing to say, but when you've got experience and lads who really know how to scrap it out and how to perform, and who've been there in the top flight before, I'm not sure that I'd buy into that argument.
No, I think you've got to look. I think the bottom of the Premier League's been really fascinating in regards to who could go down, who could join that pot, and we've seen some big teams have fallen into traps at this moment in time. We're looking at
Everton.
We're looking at Everton for sure, who's the big story. Covered something on those results yesterday, which is damning at the moment with the fixtures they've got. So you're looking at it from a point of view and say, well, when we're going into the Premier League regards to investment, the players and the squad we've got, there's going to be change around, but what are we going to come up against? So how much money? We look at Nottingham Forest, they went crazy, 25 players, lots of money there. But others you might think, well, okay, Burnley are not going to go ridiculous because of their investment. Sheffield United, they can have a look and say, well, okay, we're going to go to the loan market, we've got a bulk of a good squad, and then who's the next one in? So really, you don't see any of the 3 teams going up where they're going to go and do a huge investment or would expect great things. So straight away, you're looking at saying, well, we need to find another to claw back and get over the top of. So really, I think you're looking at this season going into the Premier League. I'm really optimistic about Sheffield United being able to do something there and have a good fighting case.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we've done well with the loan market previously anyway, and it's just a case of, as you mentioned, keeping the bulk of a successful squad that's hungry for it, that's earned the right to be in there, but then just adding little bits of quality as and when needed to go and compete with those teams. And you know, Man City was you know, playing against one of the best teams in the world. It's one of those games, big occasion, but we played well against Spurs as well, and you've had little snippets of playing against big teams that are in that division, and you've just got to
hopefully some of them big teams do get relegated. Yeah. So I go, right, come on then, take them down, makes a few less, and it gives you a bit of fighting chance. I know it's harsh to say it, but it's the reality.
There's no way we were disgraced against Manchester City, were we? I mean, they'd been and smashed Burnley 6-0, and we saw them hammer Arsenal on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, City are on fire at the moment. They're flying. I was at the game, and what I took from it was the big chance, wasn't it? On the first minute, Iliman Ndiaye's got to score. And then really, I thought the setup was really, really good. They defended excellent, limited City to only a couple of opportunities, which is so hard to say because generally they can cut through you, and it was just one mistake because the force, it comes up, Bernardo Silva reacts well, and it's the penalty which you're only going to clear the ball. So that changes the whole outcome. I thought if they got in that dressing room at half time, it would have given them huge confidence to say, how well have we just done against, you know, arguably the best team in the world at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the standing ovation that they got from the United fans who'd made their way down the M1 and were there, the ovation that they got at the end spoke volumes.
Yeah, that's it. Literally, you know, the performance I thought was actually very good. You had a lot of people speaking about the result could get out of hand, 3, 4, 5, 6, which we saw it happened to Burnley. They got turned over, but as you mentioned, we defended very, very well. You know, disciplined, out of possession against a team that had probably 90% of the ball, and that's hard to do. You have to stay switched on for a long time.
They're desperate to get a goal. I seen Sharpie afterwards, and it was like put one across and said, "Oh, we could have got our shot. Could we have got a goal?" They wanted to take something from the Wembley day, and that's the only thing I was hoping for the Sheffield United supporters to have a goal and to have something to go at.
Well, we're going to send you off, Ellie, to join Matt in a minute or two for commentary on this afternoon's game. Sheffield United against Preston. We're only around 7.5 minutes away from kickoff now, so as ever, we're going to put you on the spot. What's going to happen? Is it going to be another big, terrific performance from United?
I'm going to go Sheffield United win. I do think Preston might get an opportunity, so I'm going to go with a 2-1. I really don't know how this game is going to pan out, but that's going to be my prediction.
Right, well, enjoy it, and we'll hear you at half-time and at full-time, and of course through the afternoon, giving us blow by blow on the match and hopefully going really well. You keep your powder dry for the moment. I'll ask you how you expect it to go in just a minute or two, because first of all, let's hear from yesterday's press conferences, and this was Stuart McCall and he spoke about what he was expecting from one last time here at Bramall Lane.
It's the last home game, so we've got still a few. Unusually, normally we do the team today, but we're going to leave it to tomorrow. We've still got a couple of bumps and bruises, and we'll have a little look at it tomorrow. But no, listen, what have we got now? 85 points. I think last time I was fortunate enough to be here as an assistant, I think we got 90. So there's a little thing. Most wins in a season. I think we're on 25-1 behind Burnley. And the lads might get a few quid if they get another clean sheet. So there is targets still to go for. And like I say, a lot of the lads will be, it's the last game of the season at home. And, you know, I think most of them will want to go out on a high on that one and, you know, show the supporters. Because I've got to say, I think going back to Wembley, you know, the support was outstanding. But the other night, that was it, again, looking back when I first came in, I remember coming with Blackpool, and I think Blackpool 4 times in the game sang, "Is this a library?" And that was my biggest disappointment when I came with Blackpool to Bramall Lane, because I've always found the atmosphere electric and I've been lucky enough to be involved in it. And the key for me, you know, what would success be? The success would be getting the supporters back on side, you know, filling the ground, letting them back us all the way, because that will mean we've been successful. And the other night was something else, you know, it was outstanding. It really was. I mean, I know obviously a lot of my family and friends went down to Wembley, enjoyed the occasion, but the other night, you know, it was a coming together of everybody on it, which was brilliant.
Other night was something else. That was Stuart McCall speaking about United's last home game. Is it going to be more of the same today? Let's hope so. And, you know, I mean, the atmosphere has been building all the time while we've been on air for the last hour or so, Michael. And it's a special place for times like this, isn't it? These are sort of memory afternoons.
You know, these are the times you want to put the shirt on, put your boots on and walk out to an atmosphere like this, knowing full well that you're actually, it doesn't really matter. You want to win, you want to end the season on a high, but really the pressure's off. You just got to enjoy the afternoon, the occasion, the celebrations that are going to be here afterwards. That could be planned, could be more structured, and it's going to be a real good outing. And again, you know, some of the players might be saying, you know, goodbye for the last time. So it's something that's in your memory bank as well, to think, you know, to play in this crowd like this. It's it's going to be great. You've been elsewhere, Michael. I mean, how does Bramall Lane compare for you with other grounds? I mean, I'm completely biased. As far as I'm concerned, I look out there and I think, yeah, this is what it's all about. How do you feel about it? I think because I had such a successful time here, it's so special for me. Some of the great nights, some of the big games here, scoring goals and hearing it at its best against, you know, some top teams in cup runs where you're playing sort of Premier League opposition, where it's just, atmosphere is incredible. Late comebacks in a championship season where we got to both semi-finals as well and the playoff finals. So I've seen it on a real high, and you never forget that. And I'm looking forward to sitting and to listening what it's going to be like just down below here as well. And you know, great memories. Players are going to be coming out anytime soon. I think they're down there in the tunnel. What are you expecting, Michael? Is this going to be a United win, or are we just going to have to soak up the atmosphere and enjoy? Do you know what? I'd love it to be a win. I'm going to enjoy whatever happens, and hopefully it is. Hopefully it's a convincing performance. It will be a tough game for certain. I'm more of, let's hope that the performances and the results continue, because, as I said, it's not really the end of the world. But let's really try and end it on a real positive, a real good performance, a good result, a few goals, and can Billy Sharp get that goal as well? I think that would be a really nice one for us all. That would be great. The players are going to be out anytime soon. Thank you very much for the last hour. It's been great setting the scene for the match this afternoon. United against Preston. The players will be on the pitch any moment now, so time to join our commentators. Ellie Wilson, and first of all, Matt Young.